What's going on YouTube? I'm creating this channel here, calling it Old Moldy Workshop, which is kind of an inside joke for the name. Sorry, I'm just kind of zooming all around the place. So what I wanted to do, because I tinker with all kinds of things, RC cars, electronics, computers, you name it pretty much. So I wanted to work on a little project. I wanted to build a little Bluetooth stereo for my kitchen because I have an old AM radio that picks up one station and it doesn't even do that half the time. So I wanted to do something I can do Bluetooth. So here's my plan. Now these are some speaker boxes I got a couple years ago, and I actually just used it to steal the mid-ranges out of, which are not these. But I needed some 4-inch mid-ranges for my tower. Can't talk tonight. Tower speakers for my surround sound. But these are some 4-inch Kenwood speakers that I snagged out of, I think it was the dashboard of my dad's old Corolla after he totaled it. Anyway, they're about 40 watts and they're 4 ohms. So what I got, and I can throw links in the description, is this device here with the blue light is actually a Bluetooth receiver, which you can program to your phone. Now this cable here, it uses a regular like cell phone type charger. Now this one, if I touch it, it's very iffy. So what I'm going to do with that, I'm actually going to cut the end off that charger because, like I said, it's iffy. And what I got here for a 12 volt power source is this. Now this is just temporarily wired up. Sorry, I'm in my old dark basement. This is temporarily wired up to use an old 12 volt charger from a router that they threw away at my office, but the charger's good. Now this I got for another project that I'm no longer using. What this does is it steps down from 12 to 5 volts. So the plan is to take this, connect it to this end, and run it off that 12 volt source, which also feeds this. Now what this is a 10 watt by 2 an amp, and what this does is basically I'm going to use the audio output on this to feed this for music. Now the good thing about this item is it has an input, and if you plug a wire in, you can also just use it as a regular input. Now the plan is Bluetooth, but for the most part I can do, if I want to plug like an iPod or something and it doesn't have Bluetooth, I can still use this to listen to music. The other thing, and it's going to be kind of hard to see, but let me kind of try and focus. Now I'm using my cell phone camera because it's really the only camera I have that isn't like really, really old. And sorry the light's flashing because it's actually tethered to my phone already. It'd be flashing red if it wasn't. But you can actually, on the bottom of that board, and I don't want to touch it because it'll disconnect, is you can wire in, I think, a stop, a play, a mute button, and a couple other functions that I may do later on. But right now, like I said, that's later on down the road. But I got some music I want to test here, and they are hooked up to these speakers. Now this little amp does 8 ohms, and these speakers are 4. So what I also got is, and like I said, this is just a temporary setup, so I got wires hanging everywhere, are these. I grabbed a pair of these on Amazon for about, I believe, around $8 for the pair. And these are 4 ohm resistors. I tested it, and they go up to 100 watts. Now this is only 10, which the sound is actually surprising. But anyway, that is basically how it's going to wire. Now that was just a crude layout. It's going to be a little more organized once I get all that set up. Now these speakers are not going to live in here because I want a box that's going to go in the kitchen, and that I'll come back to in a minute. And sorry, I know I talk really fast, but let's see. Now I'm going to kind of flip you over here and go back to play some music. I guess that didn't work out too well, so I'm going to have to figure out how to splice these videos together so I don't have to start all over again. But apparently my phone does not let me stream music and record at the same time, which I was unaware of. So let's see. What I did was I ran this here cable to the input, and now it's flashing blue and red because I disconnected it because I touched it and that crappy cable lost connection. But anyway, I ran this to the output of my laptop. So let's just see if we can kind of get an idea how this sounds. Now, like I said, I'm on a cell phone with a crappy, you know, camera. So let's do a copyright-free music song that I found on YouTube. And this is actually pretty loud, so I'm going to turn this down a little bit. But it'll give you a good idea of how this thing sounds. Now these are 40-watt speakers, and this is only 10-watt amp. And like I said, this is only a sample setup. It's still kind of loud. So you get the idea. Anyway, so what I wanted to do was, obviously I didn't want to use these boxes because actually I was using these for an old monitor stand for a long time. And I just threw these 4-inch Kenwoods in there to basically have just some way to test it. And I've actually been using these for computer speakers for a while just to test this out, and it works fantastic. So what I have here, I went to my local, they call it the barn. It's like a junk shop where they sell all kinds of stuff. I got this guy here for about, well, he said $2, so I said, what the heck, why not? It looks like it's got like a maybe 6 3/4, like a 7-inch speaker inside. Now, I'm gonna kill this Bluetooth thing. But anyway, I did kind of go into it, and I'll show you what's inside. Now this is very basic speaker, and I do want to test it and see just how it sounds just for the heck of it, but grab a screwdriver here, switch hands since I am right-handed. Pull these screws out here real quick. Nope, wrong way. Sorry about that. I'm trying to do everything one-handed here, which is definitely not my strong suit. There's 6 screws. And this is one of the reasons I chose this, because this back panel is removable. And at least that's the theory anyway. Don't need to see my feet. They're not very fun to look at. Now, I don't have a specific plan for how I'm going to use this, but the plan is to actually replace the front panel with like maybe some thin plastic, which I do have some I can work with, but it's part of an old real estate sign that somebody left in my yard. Yes, I have very hairy hands. How exciting is that? Alright, so we pull this cover open. We got this guy in here. It is an 8-ohm 4-watt speaker. Now later on I will kind of test that, and maybe we'll see how that sounds. Maybe in the box, I don't know. But the plan, at least the hopeful plan, is that this front cover comes off. And it looks like these are just maybe Phillips head screws. I haven't really taken this apart, so I think you guys are kind of on the journey with me. Now I can't get my electric screwdriver in here, and these little tiny screws, so I'm going to kind of get this out. But anyway, I'm going to cut this off here. I'm going to go through and take these screws out. I'm going to see if this front cover comes off, which I'm hoping it does. So if it does, I can replace this, build my own cover to put this 4-inch speakers right next to each other, and maybe put a few buttons in there, and you know, a light for power and things like that, volume knob, so on and so forth. But like I said, I don't have a clear plan, so I'm going to pull these screws out. I'll come back to you, and we'll see what happens once they're all out. Okay, so hopefully I can splice all these videos together. If not, this may be the 3rd or 4th video But anyway, I got it all apart, and the front cover does come off. Here's where the speaker sat. And, okay, that's sharp. I probably will not use that. So here's the speaker. It's, I'm guessing it's like a 6 3/4 or some odd size. But anyway, I decided, you know what? Why not see how it sounds? So, I'm going to go back and find that same video. Well, my computer's thinking about waking up. I mean, this thing's pretty old. I'm looking at 4 watts, 8 ohms. Let's think about this. Here's the box we're left with. So my plan is this. Either use the existing back cover or build something that fits in here, where I can put my plug and an auxiliary input, maybe a power switch. The power switch may go in the front, depending. This, I'll probably cut a piece that fits over here that I can mount the speakers in, volume knob, and later on down the road, some buttons. I just have some sheets of plastic, like I said, from an old real estate sign that was left in my yard. But anyway, so this is what we're going to work with. I don't have exact plans yet. When I do, I'll make a video. So let's get this out of here. And pick this back up over here. I need a better camera setup, I know that. But for now, this will work. It's a work in progress. Anyway, let's start the same song over again and see how this thing sounds. Now, actually, let's unhook this other speaker so we only have this one running. Sorry, I wasn't really prepared to make a video. I mean, I was, but planning didn't happen. Anyway, here we go. Let's see how this thing sounds. Now, this is 4 watts, so we can't give it a whole ton of power, so let me keep the volume pretty low on it because I don't really want to blow it up. Maybe later we'll do a blowing up video, but maybe that's something a little better than 10 watts so we get a good explosion out of it. It sounds okay, really. I mean, I don't expect stellar performance. Let's go. Hey, he's really moving. It's also very dusty. That didn't really help a whole lot. It's funny, the video doesn't really show, but it's moving pretty good. This whole speaker's not too bad for $2. Alright, so you get the point. This is what I'm building. I'm building a Bluetooth radio, and I probably went on way longer than I had to just to introduce the project. But that's kind of some of my plans and some of the things I want to do. So, if you guys want to see me blow this thing up, let me know. If not, then I might do it anyway. So, this is Old Moldy Workshop, and stay tuned, and going to make some more videos on the building of this Bluetooth contraption.